MiCA killed 90% of EU crypto. MiCA 2 wants the rest. Regulators are looking to widen MiCA to cover tokenized assets and tighten stablecoin oversight. Here's what's on the table. Tokenization, stocks, bonds, funds, and real-world assets could all fall under new tokenization rules. Clear answers on who owns tokenized assets and how it moves and gets held on chain. Some tokenized securities might move under MiCA instead of traditional financial rules. Stablecoins, easier access for non-EU issuers, and debate over whether interest-paying stablecoins should be allowed. This could set the stage for MiCA 2 as early as 2027. MiCA's first version already wiped out 90% of the European crypto industry, and MiCA 2 is not better. Wider scope, tighter rules. Europe is falling behind on crypto. So if you've been around the channel for a while, as you notice, I jumped right into it because today, guys, there's so much information. I don't have time for the opening spiel. We're going to talk about the DTCC, of course, the Swift announcement, Zebec, what's going on with them. We're also going to talk about what's happening in Japan. There's so much information to go through, especially if you're watching this in real time. You're moving through the weekend. You're getting ready for next week. We have some big dates coming up, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the next story, which is coming from the DTCC. Before I do, if you are new here, all my research is found in my video description under sources. So if I move quick, you missed it, you will find those links there. I share all my research. There's no gatekeeping here. Let's move into it from the DTCC. July 9th. Check it out with me. It says, the shift from experimentation to production is underway. July 15th, the day tokenization moves closer to real-world production at scale. As you can see, July 15th, tokenization from experimentation to production. This is a shift we've been waiting for quite some time. We know that we're looking to actually go fully live with the DTCC in October, but this is a big shift. And as we look around the market, we look at what's happening with Swift. I know this is a story that's been dominating the headlines right now, so you probably have heard this by the time you watch this. If you watch this channel consistently, you know I don't really dive into the bigger headlines because I feel like that's a waste of time. I know you're going to get that information elsewhere, so I might touch on it briefly, but I don't dive into it too much because I know that's what everybody else is going to be talking about. I want to respect your time, so I talk about the other things that are surrounding it, try to show you the bigger picture, how that story is going to blend in with the rest, okay? So let's move into the Swift announcement for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, so check it out. So it says, breaking, Swift confirms 17 banks are now preparing to pilot crypto-style cross-border payments. The pilots will use tokenized deposits on Swift new blockchain ledger, allowing banks to move funds 24/7. Of course, these are lists of the banks, guys, if you want to check it out. It's all the big ones, if you're wondering. It's all the GSIBs. If you follow the channel, you know what a GSIB is. It's a global systematic important bank. So this is what those are. And of course, they are going to be running on Swift. That is not a new story. We expected that to happen. And this is coming from Swift themselves. It says implemented in 9 months, global from day one. I'm not going to read all through this, but I want you to see what they are improving. It says enhances liquidity efficiency, improves cash flow visibility, enables seamless token recognition. And as we look over here from MSB Intel, and this is just building on it, of course, but we're looking at Chainlink and Consensus to be a partner to help Swift make this happen. And from King Solomon, another verification from Swift's document themselves. If you pop open the document, you'll see that Chainlink is right here with their CCIP being that interchain between each blockchain if you're transferring funds back and forth. And this is actually from Swift, again from themselves, given more of a deadline, says unstructured addresses are being phased out across cross-border payments. But why? Structured addresses data enables greater straight-through processing, more effective compliance screening, enhanced transparency across the payments chain. For financial institutions, corporates, and infrastructures alike, the priority is clear. Prepare early, ensure data readiness, and avoid disruption. And they have a target date of Saturday, November 14th, and this is going to be 2026. So as we recap from what we just saw so far, we have the European Central Bank moving forward with digital assets, CBDCs, as we've been expecting. Now they have MiCA 2.0 coming out that should be going live by 2027. Keep that in mind. Then we saw from the DTCC that July 15th was going to be this new launch and looking for October to be the actual go live date. And then we saw all this information with Swift, and this Swift story has been big because you've been in the market for a while. The ISO 20022 tokens were all the rage, which for good reason, right? There's not, like, everybody looks back at it and kind of laughs a little bit, but you also have to keep in mind we don't have a crystal ball to see the future. So we only can go off with what we know. And that's what's important to know in this space here is it's all speculation until we see hard facts and data. We're trying to put all this information before it actually gets released here. So as researchers, that's what we're looking to do. So hopefully you guys are appreciating that. If you are, guys, if you could hit that like button, it'd be very much appreciated. Leaving a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this whole Swift story. A lot of people think Ripple is going to take it. It's going to be XRP's baby. Then you have the flip side saying that no, Ripple has nothing to do with this. XRP ledger isn't going to be applied to this at all. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. And if you like this kind of reporting, where we bring you just facts, no hopium, and we give you a different way to look at the crypto market, please consider subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you aboard. Now let's move on to what's going on in Japan, then Russia, Circle, then we will finish up with Zebec. But let's look at Japan, and we're going to kind of go back a couple of days to July 6, 2026, coming from Yudo. So check this out with me. This is a big story. If you're not following Japan, what's going on with their market, it's imperative you are aware of that. So let's go ahead and get into the story. Check it out with me. So as we looked back, this comes out July 6 from Yudo. It says, the measures being prepared by the Bank of Japan will affect the lives of billions of people. To the people of the Western countries, I offer my deepest apologies. This is not a personal matter. May God's blessing be upon you. And it's interesting because now we get from July 10th from the macro paper, check out what's going on in Japan. The Bank of Japan has started to straighten the yen, and it's something that will impact every asset holder. Today's Japan finance minister, I can't say their name, I'm not going to try to, said that Japan is seeking to encourage the government pension investment fund to boost investment in domestic assets. She also hinted at yen repatriation, where Japanese investors, corporations, and institutions sell foreign assets to cover them back into Japanese yen. Currently, Japan has over $1 trillion in foreign assets, and their goal is to sell them for yen. So think about that, $1 trillion getting sold and back into yen. Most of the foreign assets are T-bills or USD, so that $1 trillion is predominantly going to be coming back into America. So do you think Yudo was warning of this $1 trillion flowing back into America? It's very possible, or at least the US dollar, which means selling them could spike the US bond yields. Additionally, this action will trigger a yen carry unwind similar to the one in August 2024, which rattled the markets. And as you can see, like, I don't mean to laugh at the yen. This is terrible for their economy and the people of Japan, and that's really sad to think about. So as we look around the world, we have Europe moving in. We have Swift that literally connects the world through the messaging system. We have the DTCC that clears the money, right? So we have all these major institutions and countries. Now Japan's falling behind, but we also know Japan is heavily built for the new financial system, working with Ripple directly. If you've been following Japan, and all their banks are heavily tied to Ripple, right? So we see that their dollar is collapsing. The question is, are they getting switched over to the system before America? Because America is still waiting to pass the Clarity Act, and so is Europe. They're trying to get their bills passed as well. But let's look at now Russia. So we've been talking about Russia a little bit on this channel. We kind of giving you a little here and there, but we're getting more information out what they're doing. So check out this story coming from Crypto Rover on July 9th, 2026. Check it out with me. Really, really fascinating. It truly is. It says Russia largest private bank entering crypto. Alpha Bank plans to launch crypto custody trading, crypto to ruble conversions, and tokenized investment products. Retail services are expected to launch in late 2026 or early 2027 under Russia's new crypto framework. The question here I want to point out is, does the Clarity Act get passed? Because we see now Europe and now Russia are ready to go for 2027. So is 2027 the official launch? Or do we see the Clarity Act getting passed in 2027, not 2026? It's interesting. We'll see how this unfolds. But from Chad Steingraber, he expands more on this. He says, with Russia now testing crypto, they officially approved 3 for the Moscow exchange: Solana, XRP, and Tron. And as you can see from this excerpt here, you do have Solana, Ripple, and Tron being represented in Russia. So as we look at the three big countries we spoke about so far. We know that Ripple has their MiCA license, they have their CASP license, they're ready to go live in Europe. We already know that Japan is using Ripple heavily right now, and now we're getting evidence that Russia is using XRP. So we're seeing the major players around the world. The financial system is getting switched over, and it looks like Ripple does have a prominent role in this. I mean, regardless if you're a Ripple XRP fan or not, the facts are the facts. And as we speak about Ripple, we have to look at what they're doing here in America. So check out what's happening. Just in case you missed this, this is July 8th. Check it out. It says just in, XRP Ledger just unlocked 24/7 trading for the S&P 500. So as you see, ASPX, Asset Eco, S&P 500 accumulating tracker. And you can pop open this article if you want to read more about it. But we're seeing now that XRP Ledger is helping power 24/7 trading on the S&P 500. That's huge, guys. And then we look at what's going on with the real world assets, of course. So the market stopped betting on XRP and started building on it. $4 billion in real world assets on the XRP ledger, 0.9 billion in XRP ETFs. Utility is now 4 times bigger. So we see the world is adopting Ripple. We're seeing the XRP ledger is expanding. We're seeing the RLUSD stablecoin exploding right now. So I know there's been a lot of people saying, look, Ripple's not going anywhere or XRP is not going anywhere. Look, all these years. I think it's important to understand this technology has been built out over many of years. And that's what happens when you have a good product or a good solution to a problem. It doesn't just get implemented overnight, and especially when we're talking about moving quadrillions of dollars around the world for the next 30, 50 years or whatever it may be. That's something they don't take lightly. And the integration and the changeover is so heavy that it's going to take many of years. So as we look at different projects, it's important to see what kind of fundamentals they're building and not just what the price action is happening. The price action, guys, is heavily manipulated. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This is going to be the Circle story, which big story here, guys. So check this out. All right, let's go ahead and move into it. Read along with me here. It says, breaking. Circle receives final U.S. approval to establish a crypto-focused trust bank. After previously receiving conditional approval, Circle has now secured final OCC approval to establish a national trust bank. As a federally regulated bank, Circle National Trust will custody its own USDC reserves and hold crypto assets on behalf of institutional clients. Circle's share has now surged 13% in pre-market trading for following the news. And keep in mind, Ripple also has their OCC license waiting to get approved as well. So did Circle get this first one? Or are we going to see Ripple get theirs here soon is the question. But when I talk about market manipulation, keep in mind the people on the inside that make the rules and policies, they kind of know what's going on. And let me give you an example of Circle on CoinMarketCap. Check out this spike here just happening. And keep in mind when Tether got delisted, I forget the date. I should have checked it, but I didn't. Circle's stock tanked as well. And I forget exactly what was happening around that area, but Circle definitely dropped some stock and it was a big story. I think it was like 16% drop. And then we look at this spike here just coming out from getting their license, guys. Like it's almost like they knew what was going on. From the lows, I'm just going to get a quick look, is 61.96, and now towards the highs, we're looking at, where was that at, 71.04. So you're looking at a $10 spike in just the news coming out alone. And if the people on the inside know what's coming, a $10 spike is a great return when you invest thousands of dollars. So it's kind of interesting that you see all these drops and heavy spikes to kind of FUD people out and then shoot up real quick. And that is the power of the crypto market. And this is what's important to understand. Just because your asset's not performing at the moment, it does not mean that it's not going to perform in the future. So as we look around the world and we see what's going on, we're seeing all this activation for crypto DLT technology getting adopted worldwide by the major players. But what needs to be powered by these stable coins, it's great that we have stable coins, but they also have to move and inflow to the people that are going to be using it. And without the people using it, then it's just a dead product on the shelf, right? This is where Zebec comes in. And this is the Zebec story that I think is going to change Zebec going forward. So if you know Zebec and you've been following the channel, you've been listening to all these news announcements, how they're tapping into streaming payments and they're making this happen right now in real world adoption. It's not just a speculation or a proof of concept, it's actively being implemented. And let me show you what I'm talking about because this is a game changer. Let's look into the story and talk about it when we're done because this is huge. Check it out. It says Zebec network receiving your payroll in crypto should be as simple as possible. Starting July 14th, keep in mind July 15th, DTCC goes live. Interesting timing. And we're also waiting for the Clarity Act to be approved by August. Look at how all this activation is taking place before things fall into place, right? Anyway, so get back to it. Starting July 14th, Privy will be available in Zebec Enterprise, making it easy for businesses to onboard employees who are new to crypto using familiar sign-in methods without requiring them to manage private keys. And keep in mind with Zebec, they just went live with their super app on mobile as well. What a perfect time all this unfolds as we now see Circle getting their license to make it more official, especially when I think about stable coins. All this is perfectly unfolding, guys. Swift going live. We have DTCC going live as all this is happening. It's not a coincidence, is what I'm trying to point out. But as we read more about this story, let me break it down to show you why this is a big deal. It says, for years, crypto payroll faced the same problem, not payments, wallets. Most employees don't know how to manage private keys, write down seed phrases, or secure self-custody wallets. If you know how to do that right now, you're way ahead of the scale. Let me know down in the comments. Do you know how to do this, or is this something you're still wanting to learn? Anyways, moving back on, it says that's where adoption stopped. Zebec is removing that friction. Starting July 14th, employees can create wallets using something they already know: email, SMS, text, familiar login flows, no seed phrases, no private key management, no complicated onboarding. Privy handles the wallet infrastructure behind the scenes while users simply log in. That changes the employee's experience entirely. Employees can receive crypto salaries across multiple supported networks, including Stellar, Solana, Ethereum, and Base. Instead of locking companies into a single ecosystem, Zebec lets enterprise choose the network that best fits their payment infrastructure. Another interesting piece is Privy itself. Privy, backed by Stripe, has become one of the leading enabled wallet providers for consumer-facing crypto applications. Instead of forcing users to install wallets and manage seed phrases, developers can enable blockchain wallets directly into their familiar applications. Rather asking users to become crypto experts, applications can hide into the blockchain complexity. That's exactly the mainstream adoption needs. For enterprises, this benefits go even further: faster employee onboarding, stablecoin payroll, cross-border payments, compliance-ready infrastructure, familiar user experience. The blockchain becomes infrastructure. The employee simply gets paid. That's probably the biggest takeaway. The future of crypto will be won by the platform with the most features. It will be won by the platform where employees barely notice they're using blockchain at all. I know that was long-winded. Sometimes I'm like Will Ferrell on Anchorman, where I'll just kind of read anything from the teleprompter. I kind of get locked in reading and I forget to stop. Sometimes I get fascinated by the story again. Anyways, so how big this is, guys, is Zebec working with Privy is going to make crypto mainstream and simplistic. So the masses won't need to know seed phrases. They don't need to have a cold wallet, which, by the way, if you use my code DC10 on Tangem, you'll get a 10% discount, and all the proceeds go to NAMI for mental health. So you'll be helping people out while receiving a discount. The link's down below as well. Moving on. So this is huge. So Zebec bringing real-time payments, streaming payments to the everyday user without the everyday user knowing they're using crypto. And that's the beauty of what crypto is going to be. They're going to be using simple stable coins, using their debit cards. Like if you have, let me show you, like if you have your card, I use my card all the time, gas stations, whatever, on RLUSD, but you don't know you're using it and the people around you don't know you're using it, right? So this is what Zebec is going to do, and that's going to unlock so much potential of bringing real world adoption on board. This was a longer video, guys. Like I said, there was so much information to go through. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, guys, please, again, hitting that like button is imperative and is very much appreciated. And if you do like this kind of reporting where we give you everything to think about in different aspects of the market, consider subscribing to the channel. I would very much appreciate that and love to have you aboard. And before I let you guys go, I made a video yesterday. So this video here or here, wherever I decide to put it, is going over just my top 5 channels I suggest people check out. And I love the comments that people had and all the suggestions people gave down in the comments. So if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. All right, I want to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out this long. For all you guys, go take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become the change you want to see. I'll catch you on the next one.